We are standing on the edge of a financial earthquake. Today, the cracks in the foundation are no longer subtle, they're gaping. What once were prestigious office towers are now being eyed as future homeless shelters. You remember when you said, "I'm buying a house, I'm finally going to make some money"? Yeah, well, you bought at the very top of the market. And you listened to your real estate agent who told you real estate always goes up. Except it doesn't. I see people every day caught in the hype. They rush into real estate thinking prices will rise forever. I say nothing. Because credit? It's just debt in disguise. This system keeps pumping debt into the economy to delay an inevitable crash. And here's the ironic part. When inflation rises, I get richer. You heard that right. Inflation is intentional. That's why the government shut down the Keystone XL pipeline and halted oil drilling to push prices up. But when energy costs soar, truckers can't deliver, food prices rise, and families suffer. All the while, people are still buying real estate like there's no tomorrow. I can't even reason with them. We're at a critical turning point, and it's vital to understand. Inflation benefits the wealthy, taxes crush the middle class, and the poor simply can't afford a $25 Wagyu steak. This is a structural crisis rooted in the very foundation of our financial system. Since 1944, the US dollar hasn't been money, it's just a global reserve currency. In 1971, Nixon removed it from the gold standard. Since then, we've been on a slippery slope, and today feels a lot like 2007. We all know what came next. The repo market collapsed in 2008. The stock market followed. Back then, Bernanke printed trillions. And now? We're hitting the wall again. The Federal Reserve is not just stopping money printing, they're reversing it. That's right, quantitative tightening. The opposite of stimulus. It destroys money. When the Fed prints, they buy bonds. When they tighten, they sell them. Or let them mature without replacing them. And when the Fed gets that money back, it disappears. Vanishes. Because they don't need to hold cash. They can create it out of thin air. So what happens next? Asset prices fall. Stocks tumble. Property values drop. And mom and pop buyers who thought they'd flip a house for profit, they're out of luck. As interest rates rise to fight inflation, they'll find out just how painful this market can be. They're sitting UK less. Toast. God. And rents? People won't be able to afford them. Let's talk numbers. In 1964, total US debt passed $1 trillion. Today, it's $90 trillion. That explosion of credit wouldn't have been possible under a gold-backed system. Now the entire economy runs on debt. Credit has replaced capitalism. We no longer grow through savings and production, but through borrowing and consumption. That's not sustainable. The moment credit contracts, we fall into depression. That's why the government has to keep borrowing, keep printing. I meet people all the time who say, "I followed your advice, I bought real estate." And I wince. Because real estate isn't like stocks. You can't just click a button and sell. It's not liquid. You have to be smarter. Buying real estate blindly is like jumping off a moving train. Veterans over 50 have seen the cycles. They know the pain. But younger generations? They've only seen boom times. They think it always goes up. That's dangerous. Since 2008, interest rates were slashed, and the world inflated stocks, bonds, and real estate. But now, as rates climb, those bubbles are popping. And many financial advisors, barely in their 30s, have never seen a down market. Their optimism? Naive. The real opportunities come when the tide recedes and the bodies float to the surface. Your profits are made when you bid, not when you sell. That's why everything I own cash flows. People chasing capital gains alone are in for a rude awakening. Flipping worked during the boom, now? It's a gamble. There are self-proclaimed real estate gurus out there selling dreams. Buy a 200-unit apartment complex with no money down. That's a setup for disaster. Their real business is selling you their system. Be careful. We've seen this before. When everyone's jumping in, it's already too late. You want to buy when no one else is. When there's blood in the streets. Yes, prices are falling. Yes, the banks are shaking. But this is the time to learn. This is when real investors are born. People say, but I don't have the money. I've been there. Interest rates were 12%, and I still found a way. The key isn't having money, it's knowing how to use debt smartly. Remember, only lazy people use their own money. The US dollar is debt. So are the yen, the euro, the peso. Debt fuels the system. And the more debt you use wisely, the less tax you pay. Now is not the time to panic, it's the time to learn, act, and adapt. Real estate isn't dead, it's misunderstood. And if you don't educate yourself now, you'll end up cleaning toilets instead of collecting rent. The amateurs are surfacing. This is your time to swim smarter. And for the record, I've never lost money in real estate. I've been in trouble, but I learned fast, adjusted, and came out smarter. That's how you grow. The worst advice? Go to school, get a job, save money, get out of debt, invest in a 401k. That's not financial literacy. That's a formula for mediocrity. And now the biggest crash in history is underway stocks, real estate, and cash itself. The Fed will print more to cover pensions. Hyperinflation is next. Your money becomes trash. And guess what comes next? Fed coin. A digital dollar to replace the old one. I own Bitcoin. I own silver. Because gold and silver are God's money, not printed, not manipulated, not fake. The truth is simple. The further you are from it, the poorer you become. So don't fear the storm, learn to sail it.